So these would be accumulative. You would come to each of the 3 classes and learn a little bit more each time. Class 1 was to cover pain physiology, so how our bodies feel pain, as well as how emotional pain can affect your body, and how pain affects, or how the emotions affect the pain in your body. Like if you're stressed, you're going to have a higher pain level than if you're not stressed. Then I wanted to take people through what the individual went through and what their family and friends will be experiencing, and kind of give them an idea, just overall, you know, this is where a lot of people are, this is where their surrounding family and friends are, and how can we start coping with this. Class 2 was to start moving on to discovering what was wrong, choosing your doctor, or doctors, starting to get more specialized care, what kind of things to look for in a good doctor, or chiropractor, acupuncturist, those kind of things, as well as different treatments for pain, not just narcotics, muscle relaxants, and physical therapy, which is the typical standby of doctors. Class 3 was to be a biblical worldview of pain as the start, so as well as coping mechanisms, and coping mechanisms for the friends and family. So it wasn't just the individual learning to cope with pain, it was how do their friends and family relate to them, and how do their friends and family influence that pain and help them. The process was pretty intense. I started out, you know, doing the basic outline, then I took that to several different people. One was a teacher, one was somebody who was totally outside, just to see, with no knowledge of the subject, just to see what they would say. The elders, Jana, everybody got brought into this so that I could get different points of view and see what people from different aspects and areas of life would have to say about it. Then I realized I needed to rework the curriculum. So here's what I had planned, here's what I ended up doing. And that changed drastically. So it started out as just being mostly lecture-based, particularly at the start, with a few things, you know, for acupressure, a few techniques added in. But it became something a lot bigger. And I started to realize that there had to be more interactive stuff interspersed in with the lecture. It couldn't just be videos and things. One big major setback was in the last minute. I walked into the classroom the first day and found out the classroom didn't have half the equipment that I thought it would. So that was a no-show. I basically had to rework the whole class starting out and figure out, okay, if I don't have multimedia equipment, how am I going to teach this class when I designed it to have some multimedia equipment like PowerPoint, sound, projection, those kind of things. So I had to kind of work off my feet really quickly, which was a lot of fun, but it actually turned out really well. The first, overall, after the 3rd class was over, I felt that the class in general met the goals. You know, it did everything we were supposed to. The women that came, it was mostly women. They really bonded. The class members seemed to grasp the information really well and were starting to apply it to their lives, both personally and as well taking it to family members and applying it in their family members' lives. So it came out very, very well. It exceeded my expectations. I expected it to go okay, but it actually went better than I had planned, which was amazing, and I give that glory totally to God. I also have gained some great ideas for what to do if I were to ever do this again. I would never do the first class the way I did it. It was mostly lecture anyway, but the lecture was supposed to be broken up with multimedia, so that kind of didn't go over as well as I wanted it to. I had to start thinking that if I did this class again, class 1 needed to be broken up even more so than it was. And I didn't plan for things. People in chronic pain need to move. One of the ways to alleviate pain is to move the muscles and to relax certain muscles while tensing others. And I didn't incorporate that into my class. And if I had incorporated more movement, just general movement, like having the class stand up and sit down even, would have made it so much more better. They could have gotten up, moved around, but instead I did mostly lecture and talking, and so it just didn't go quite as well. So next time I would do that kind of thing as well, and start teaching acupressure a lot sooner. The contributions for psychology, family life, and the community are that it gives any family a greater empathy and understanding for people in suffering, not just people who are in pain, but also emotional suffering. I geared it to explain and to help people understand how grief, depression, stress just really can wear on a person and really bring them to the point where they sometimes in serious cases can't even get out of bed. It also helps the family and individual learn healthy coping mechanisms. So now, not only does the family understand what the person's going through, and the person understands it, but they also are able to learn how they can do things differently or new ways of coping with their pain and ways to support each other. And this isn't just for pain, but again, it's also for stress, depression, grief, good times and bad times kind of idea. Also, like I said before, it taught overall principles that they could take into life for different various things, which was awesome. Any changes I would do was, like I said, class 1 would have more movement. Also, the classes would work to have more interaction and transition between acupressure, physical techniques that we did of relaxation and stuff, as well as lecture. Like, it would be a lot more going back and forth, and I'd try to make it so that they interwove really well and weren't like, okay, now we're lecture, now we're doing this, now we're lecture, now we're doing this. It would just kind of be a seamless flow. Also, I would like to look at the room beforehand so that I know exactly what I have and what I need to do the class. I had been in this room a few years ago, but they had removed some stuff and I didn't realize that. So I would go like a few days before and discuss with the owners of the room, or the elders of the church in this case, and try to work that out. And other than that, it is done and it went really well. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you later.